Hi, I'm Sean. I'm going to show you how I went from almost no plays to 100,000 streams every month on Spotify. Here we go. So over the last year or so, I've spent the majority of my time figuring out exactly how to trigger the Spotify algorithm, get onto Discover Weekly, and using that to facilitate most of my streams on Spotify. And for this strategy, we mostly are using meta ads. At the screen here, you can see it's a paid solution to get in front of people who are users on Facebook and Instagram. The Spotify algorithm is basically machine learning within Spotify that helps identify themes within your listening profile. So it recommends music to you. So as artists, we want to create patterns with our listeners so the algorithm knows who to show our music to. The Discover Weekly playlist is typically for newer music that's come out in the last month or two. And as your music performs on Discover Weekly informs how long it's going to stay on that playlist. We're going to start with meta ads. Now, I'm going to use a song that I'm working on. This just hit 10,000 plays. So the song's called Digital Dreams. For this to work properly, you're gonna have needed to install a Facebook pixel onto a landing page platform like something like Toneden. And I have videos. I'll have them linked down below as to how to get that set up. You're gonna want to do that before you even continue any further with this. Once you do that, you're going to select your conversion event. Mine is a view content. So when people click on my link from my ad and they go to a landing page and then click on a link on the landing page, that is considered one view content. And that is when Facebook/Meta charges you for that advertisement. So these are all the countries I have selected. So usually I divide my ads into 3 different segments: high cost, mid cost, and low cost countries. And when I say high, mid, low cost, I'm referring to the amount of money it takes to advertise to specific countries. So places like Armenia, Bulgaria, Bolivia are going to have a cheaper cost per result than a place like the United States or Canada, for instance. Those would be my high cost ads. So this is one of my low cost ad segments. I'm targeting the age 21 to 45. Interests are very important. Always, if you're targeting people for Spotify, lead with Spotify here. Interest, Spotify. But the people who are interested in Spotify also have to like electronic music. So it kind of funnels people out. Moving on from there, we're going to look at the ads. So usually I test a few different ads. For this, I didn't change the creative that much. The only thing that's different from this ad compared to the other 2 I'm running is the section of the song I'm doing. So I have the first drop, the build up, and the second drop. And those are the 3 different songs or sections of songs that I'm testing on this ad specifically. And as you see one specific ad start to perform clearly better than the others, you can turn off the others, further maximizing your cost per result. And then I have it linked to the Toneden landing page, which I can show you here. So this is what the landing page looks like. So when people click on the ad, this is what they're seeing. I have Spotify at the top, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Bandcamp. I always provide a few other options. Just because you've targeted somebody who has an interest in Spotify doesn't mean that they necessarily enjoy using Spotify over Apple Music, for instance. So I like to have a few options just so I can at least capture a listener rather than chasing somebody off just because you only have Spotify as an option. But most of the time, you're going to get those people who prefer to use Spotify and they're going to click on that. The hardest thing to achieve is getting what's called a fans also like. So right now we're looking at my Spotify for Artists profile. If you go to profile and go to fans also like, you need this section. So these are other artists that my listeners like. So people like Yuri Petrovsky, Anima Drop, Dream Reaper, Luke Losh. These are artists that fans who, I guess it's just similar music to what I'm making and fans of mine also like. Now to get on this is a little tricky, but I'll show you a way to do that. Unless you're getting consistent streams by similar fans, you're not going to get that. So the way I did it was I created a playlist of music that is similar to mine that I personally enjoy, and I sprinkled my music throughout the playlist. So now the Spotify algorithm can start drawing lines between me and Extra Terra, or me and Dream Reaper, or me and Anima Drop. So like I specifically targeted artists who I admire and whose music is similar to mine in order to start drawing those connections for the Spotify algorithm. If you aren't able to draw similarities, you're going to have a really hard time getting that fans also like section. If you don't have the fans also like section in your profile, then the odds of you getting on Discover Weekly and staying on Discover Weekly are severely hindered. Keep in mind, if you are getting on playlists, say outside playlists, say it's not your own, it's just you submit it to playlisters and they put you, say you make electronic music and they put you on a pop playlist, that will actually damage your account because now you're confusing the algorithm. If you're next to Taylor Swift and you're making dubstep, it does not, the algorithm has a hard time drawing that connection and showing your music to people who are actually going to enjoy it. You're going to want to get your song set up with your distributor a month beforehand. The reason you want to do that is so you have time to pitch your song to Spotify editorials. Now, this is a song I have coming up. I haven't pitched it yet, but you can go pitch the song to an editor who puts together the editorial playlist in hopes of them putting you on an editorial playlist. Now, this happening is honestly, I haven't had it happen. It's pretty difficult to do, but the reason you want to do it, because if you don't, you will not be eligible for any algorithmic playlist either. Now, the algorithmic playlist isn't run by a person. It's just the machine learning of Spotify putting music together in a playlist that suits its listeners. The editors are people who specifically pick specific songs to put together in playlists. Pitch this to make sure you get on the algorithmic playlist. Now, a number benchmark you want to shoot for is about 10,000, I would say 9,200 to 10,000 plays within the first 28 days. This seems to be the most consistent benchmark for me on getting and staying on the Discover Weekly playlist. Now, I have had songs that took a long time to get 10,000 plays, maybe 3 or 4 months, and then they get on Discover Weekly that following Monday. But the longevity of them staying on that playlist usually isn't for very long, maybe a week or two, or maybe a month or two at the most. This song here, Stasis, has been on Discover Weekly for about a year. It didn't get a whole lot of streams initially. Hold on, let me expand this view. So it's getting about 300 a day. And you can see exactly when it gets put on Discover Weekly in February. And it came out in September of last year. So it's been on Discover. It was on Discover Weekly before that, but you can see how all of a sudden it just slingshots it much further as far as the amount of plays it's getting. And I think that's just partly due to the fact that it was doing well on Discover Weekly, so it decided to give it a little bit more exposure. But I think around this mark, November, so it's September, October, so about 2 months in, it was able to get on Discover Weekly and kind of stay on there. And you can see the plays slowly ramp up over time. So the order of events is as such. Create a landing page, get on your distributor a month beforehand so you can pitch your song to editors in order to be eligible for algorithmic playlists. You utilize ads to start drawing connections with other artists, so Spotify will create a fans also like section of your profile. Once you have this, further utilize the ads to get 10,000 plays on your music within the first month. Then, hopefully, you get put on Discover Weekly, and then that will slingshot the amount of plays and followers you will get. If you liked the video and you found this helpful in any way, please like, subscribe, and comment below of any topics you'd like me to dive further into or discuss. And that's it. Thanks for watching.